Now it's time for my UFC 100 picks. It depends on how you look at this as to whether you think it's a good card or not. There are some extremely good fights on it. There are also a few surprises as to who has made the Centenary and who hasn't. I mean, a lot of the huge fighters that have been around over the past 134 productions, because of course that includes the UFMs, the tough finales and all the other sort of extra little bits. Apparently they add up to about 134, but there we are. Aren't there. We don't see people like Chuck Liddell, we don't see people like Matt Hughes, we don't see some of the really big characters that we have seen before. In fact, the only huge character on the card, I suppose there are two that you might think of. George St. Pierre is on it, Frank Mir is on it, for those who remember him prior to his accident, and Mark Coleman is another one who is, of course, a UFC Hall of Fame for some reason. We're not really quite sure why, but there you are. So let's start with my predictions. Matt Grice versus Sean Goffedy. Grice is 9-2. He's quite well rounded, but his record is win-loss at the moment. He's lost to the likes of Matt Beach and Terry Eaton very recently. Shannon is 11-3. He's got 8 submission wins under his belt. He is coming off a loss to Spencer Fisher, and this is the first fight of his year, so it's hard to tell who is going to win this one. I think I might go for Sean Goffedy by submission, to tell you the truth. I think I'll go for it a bar, but I think I'll go for it in the third round. I think, Matt Grice isn't a pushover exactly, but that'll be my prediction for that. Tom Lawler and CB Dollaway. I actually speak to both of these guys online. Wish they weren't fighting each other. Dollaway 8-1, wins mostly by TKO. His only loss is by submission. Tom Lawler is 5-1, and his only loss is by disqualification. Again, it's quite hard to see who would win this one, to tell you the truth. I just don't know who to choose on that. I think it could be a really exciting fight that goes all the way to decision, in which I think CB Dollaway probably has the upper hand. I don't really see Tom Lawler being stopped by TKO. That's the only thing. I'll go for decision, Dollaway, on that one, I think. Dong Hyun Kim and TJ Grant. No idea why these two people are actually on this card, to tell you the truth. Kim is 11-0-1, wins mostly by TKOs. TJ Grant is 10-2, and he mostly wins by submission, so it's ground fighter versus stand-up on this. I'm going to go for TJ Grant on this. I do believe that this will probably be Kim's first proper loss. I'm going to go for him by submission. I'm going to go for Barr in the second on that one. He's on, I hasten to add, a 5-fight win streak. Mac Danzig and Jim Miller. This has Fight of the Night written all over it. Mac Danzig has a lot to lose. He's 18-6, but he's had 2 losses in a row in the UFC, and they don't like 3 losses in a row. He does have 10 submissions under his belt, and he's an exciting fighter. I don't like him as a person, but he's an exciting fighter. Jim Miller is also a very exciting fighter. He's 13-2 with 9 submissions, and he's never been finished. And I have to say, I do think that Mac Danzig will have to finish Miller here if he wants to win. I think somebody is going to get choked out, and I don't know who it's going to be. I'm going to say that I think Jim Miller will win. He's never been finished before. Danzig has been finished twice in a row, but the experience certainly lies with Danzig on this, and it could easily go the other way. I'm going to go for choke in the second round. I'm going to go for Jim Miller winning, but I wouldn't be surprised if that was reversed. John Jones, 8-0, with 5 TKO wins, is fighting Jake O'Brien, who's 11-2, with 8 TKO wins. I'm going to go for Jake O'Brien by TKO in the third, I think, on that. Mark Coleman and Stephen Bonner, not really quite sure why these two are on the card. Mark Coleman is a Hall of Famer, but he's not really been so good in his return. And Stephen Bonner, you know, they seem to think they owe him a lot for the tough finale that really launched his adversary, Forrest Griffin, but I do just wish they wouldn't bother, to tell you the truth. I'm going to go for Bonner winning by decision there. Yoshihiro Akiyama and Alan Belter. Well, Belter is 14-5 with 7 TKO and 5 submission victories. Yoshihiro is 12-1 with 5 TKO and 7 submission wins, so they're reversed there. This just looks like it could be a fantastic war. It really does look very good. And although I would like Alan Belcher to win, I don't know who's going to win this one. I don't think they will cancel each other out. I think it will just be exciting until somebody finishes somebody else. And I think it could happen TKO or submission. I'm just not going to make a prediction on that one. I think I'm going to make a second video for the rest of the card. So please bear with me.